Hi everybody, this is Matt Reisinger with Reisinger Homes. Welcome to my video blog dedicated to building science and fine craftsmanship. Standing behind me here is a very fun 1935 house that's coming back to life with the help of my crew. We're doing a very fun remodel with Hugh Jefferson Randolph as the architect on the project. The house is really the original footprint, and these walls got resheathed. And of course, I'm a big believer in doing everything up to the best standard we can. So we've wrapped the entire house with DuPont stucco wrap. I really appreciate DuPont's weatherization system. I feel like it's really the best practice method for weatherizing a house. So one thing that we're doing on this house, which is particularly cool, is we're doing a 1-inch rigid foam on the outside. Here's a offcut of what we're doing. So we always want to make sure that our drainage plane, though, is correct before we put the foam up. So this is a 1-inch foam that's going to be applied to the house. Obviously we're going to use a little better looking piece than this. But when you do that, you have to pay attention to the trim details. So this Marvin window here, we had to really pay attention to how the trim was going to operate around that window. So you can see we've thickened up this trim here to accept the 1-inch foam. And then the siding on the house is going to be the original siding that we're putting back. This is the back of the siding. Here's the front face. We had to strip the old paint from the many years of painting that happened on this. But this is the original longleaf pine siding. And because this siding is no longer on a shiplap house with no insulation, now the siding, we need to be sure to make sure that this siding can perform very well, even though we're changing the design of the walls behind the siding. In the past, if this siding leaked, there was no insulation in this old 1930s house. There was solid shiplap sheathing behind that, and really, in effect, this siding could dry to the back or to the front. If we were to just apply the siding directly on the Tyvek like this, or directly on the foam board in this case, there'd be no ability for this siding to dry to the front of the siding, only to the back. So even this beautiful old longleaf would have a tendency to cup. There could be rot issues. There could be all kinds of other issues. So what we're doing is a Rainscreen system. I don't know if you can see in the video, but this is basically a piece of it's basically polycarb. We've ripped it into small strips. We're going to put that on every stud location, and then we're going to screw the siding so that this air gap is back here. Now, of course, there's going to be foam on that. Let's go around the front of the house, and I'll show you what this looks like in an area where we've got some of the siding up. Okay, so we're in the front of the house now, and we've got about half the siding up in this section. You can see that beautiful old longleaf pine, just looks gorgeous. And of course those Marvin windows look a lot like the original wood windows in the house. They're a true wood window that's been clad with aluminum. And now that we've got the foam board on, I don't know if you can see very well in the video, but there's 1 inch of rigid foam on top of that Tyvek drain wrap. You always want to use the crinkle variety. That way you get good drainage behind there. Our drainage plane is behind the foam insulation. And then on top of the rigid foam, we put those strips of polycarb. So we've got about 3/8 of an air gap behind the siding. So if you knock on this siding, this is all hollow behind here. And now the siding has been back primed because we're trying to keep water from absorbing on the siding. But now the siding can dry to the back or to the front. Whereas if we just lay this tight up against the Tyvek or black paper or some other product, it would only be able to dry to the front and not to the back. And that's really where problems occur. So now the siding is going to really get another 7,500 years out of the siding, and maybe 200 years from the time this tree was originally milled until the siding gets replaced again someday or somebody else does something to it. All the details around the windows you can see now, because we've trimmed this with a thicker trim, we still have some good reveal on this siding. We still have about a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch reveal there. My carpenters have done a great job of back priming all the cedar trim. Most of the cedar is Spanish cedar, a very rot resistant material. But we do want to back prime all that. We want to prime all the areas where there's wood to wood contact, even if it's been glued. And then we screwed most of this in, and then we're plugging it. We haven't cut the plugs off and sanded them yet, but it's really a very good install. And the cedar, as long as this is cared for, is going to last many, many years. The other beauty of this Rainscreen system is we're no longer caulk dependent. We'll probably caulk a lot of this just for aesthetic reasons, but we're no longer worried about, hey, if that caulk fails, what's going to happen? Water can get behind that siding. It's got an easy path out. It's vented on the bottom and it's vented on the top. This is really a best practice house, and all the scenarios came together perfectly here. I'm really proud of this one. Hey, we're back. The crew is finished. My painters are here working on painting it. and it looks amazing. Look at this. This siding on the front here is actually the original 1935 siding on the house. We believe it's a longleaf pine, and it is absolutely beautiful now that it's all painted. I love being able to see that wood grain through there, so you know it's a true wood and not a you know, a cement-based siding like you see in so many houses today. Look at all these details too. These are all done in cedar, and now that they've been painted, boy, it just looks fantastic. What a pretty, pretty house. And with that rain screen behind here and that foam, you know, we fast forwarded this house to today's efficiency standards are really beyond. And the other great thing about this rain screen system is this 1935 hardwoods, or pardon me, these 1935 softwoods in this case, are going to perform like they did in 1935. You know, this house when it was built had no insulation, had lots of airflow through these cavities to the inside of the house. When this siding got wet, it was able to dry, and we're mimicking that now by doing this rain screen. So if water is migrating through here, it's going to be able to dry, and it's really a best practice install. I love seeing wood siding. There's nothing like a true wood product. It's hard to do the same with a man-made material. Thanks for joining me, everybody. We'll see you next time.